From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I have Copywriting with Todd Jones, and Todd is with me to talk about skills and expertise in copywriting. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Hey everybody, Stunning Digital Marketing is your digital concierge. We help you put the pieces together to make your marketing success. Specialties we have including WordPress design and development, WordPress security, which is one of our most popular offerings, ads, and more. So if you want to succeed in the digital world, go on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and have a look at what we offer, and we'd be glad to help you. And let's jump on a call and make it happening. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I have my good friend, Mr. Todd Jones, with me, and we're doing a segment, Copywriting with Todd Jones. How are you, Todd?
Woo pig suey.
Yep. That time.
Razorbacks. Okay, I'm doing pretty good. It's we had some fairly cool weather this morning. We got some sunshine going on in the middle of college football season. I had a pumpkin latte today, so we're good.
I've already had one at Starbucks a couple weeks ago.
This was not at Starbucks. Shout out to Level Grounds in Conway, local coffee shop who has sugar-free syrup. My usual favorite, Round Mountain Coffee, does not have sugar-free syrup, but Level Ground does. So I went there, and the girl made up a pumpkin, really not much of, she called it pumpkin pie, but like that works. It was very good. So very happy about that.
My local Tim Hortons is closed for renovations. And
oh, no.
For those who don't know, Tim Hortons is like a national institution in Canada.
Yeah, even I know that.
So now I have to walk to the Buddy Starbucks, which is one way the other way, because that's the way it goes, my friend. So,
Yeah, too bad. You have to go to the big green giant.
I don't mind Starbucks occasionally, so that's okay.
Well, I will say this with Starbucks. They have a really good pumpkin loaf piece of bread, and they have a really good pumpkin muffin. They do have those. If that's what you are craving, they're the place to go, in my opinion. So,
and I am using, it's hard to see, but this is actually a Timmy's mug that I drink out of. So there you go. And we won't talk about college football season. That's a dumpster fire. And we won't talk about the NFL because those who know I'm a Cowboys fan, and that's a dumpster fire. So,
Now, here's something that's a little connecting between you and me that your audience may not know about. We're talking about copywriting, but we're talking about college football. Florida State, which is your team that you're saying is a dumpster fire, whatever, is coached by, what is the guy's name that coaches? What's the head coach for Florida State?
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, he is a graduate, former football player of years ago at the University of Central Arkansas, which is in the town where I live now. So there's an honest to God, strange connection between Rob and me with the football coach of his favorite college football team being a former. There's a picture going around the internet of him as a UCA Bear back in the 90s, I believe, and he has cornrows.
Yep.
Can you believe that? He has cornrows. So anyway.
And the other Toronto connection to Florida State actually is on the basketball side. Scotty Barnes, who the Toronto Raptors drafted a number of years ago, has been with us for a couple of years. Their superstar point guard is actually an FSU graduate. So there you go.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Anyway, so we thought we'd jump into this segment we're doing and talk about a little bit about skills and expertise and around copywriting. Where do you like to go with that?
Okay. Well, several weeks ago, actually one month ago, according to LinkedIn, I'm looking at the post right now. I wrote very, very clearly on it. So I wrote, just to be clear, as a content writer and or copywriter, my process, we've talked about my process on this show, doesn't consist of 1, sit at a computer, 2, or right words. There's
Yep.
more to it. And it's the
Oh,
same for
sure.
my friends who are content writers and copywriters too. I did tag somebody in it. Needless to say, it's sitting at 1,249 impressions. So I guess it got a little bit of attention. Some fellow copywriters and content marketers were clapping and applauding and so forth. So in the last episode, excuse me, we talked about rates, right? Why rates should be so much or whatever. And I think you included the link to the AWAI copywriting rates guide, which people can download and get an idea about rates. But it's not just about putting out words. There's way
Yep.
more to it. And and then another guy had written an article, actually a LinkedIn post. I don't know if I think he wrote this after I wrote mine, but he was just talking about, the difference between, copywriting that converts like crazy and copy that hurts your ROI and brand reputation. And then he goes into all this stuff. But he talks about he really focuses on research, right? Interviews and surveys,
Yep.
mining reviews and social media, scouring conversations and forums. I would even, that's the interview part of it, right? There's a lot of expertise that goes into copywriting. It's just not spitting out words. Um, and your time writing copy, experimenting with different styles of writing, um, pilling through Everybody Writes by Ian Hanley, or taking a course, to writing open loops, how to use stories as an analogy, what copy framework you have actually decided to ascribe to, psychology. I've become an amateur psychologist, and I never really would have thought about that before, but I find myself watching documentaries like, why do people do what they do? Like,
Yep.
the default answer is they're dumb, right? But that's not always the case. Sometimes people just, we have a particular ecosystem we're dealing with now
Yep.
in our industry with the leader who's he seems to be off his, kind of off the kilter. Why do people
Correct.
do what they do? A copywriter is usually an amateur psychologist in some way. So all this stuff is skills you accumulated over time. In any industry, we talk about that, right? Okay, if you're going to get a house built, do you want the guy, or, well, I could say gal, but do you want the guy who started yesterday to build that house? Or do you want that guy who's been doing it for 30 years and he's built everything you can see that he's ever tried to build? He's built them all. He knows how not to use shortcuts. He knows the best material. He's built what you're wanting to build, the certain frameworks and so forth. He's done it 100 times. Which guy do you want? Right. Okay, if I've had a lot of surgeries in my time. You're having a surgery, especially on something internally. You want the guy who just got out of med school, or do you want the guy who's been doing it 20 years?
Yes.
Right. I had one of the major surgeries I had was, I had a ruptured disc in my neck. This was 1998, I think. The guy that did my neck surgery, he was on the backside of his career. He's probably retiring within 5 years after my surgery. I wouldn't have been shocked if he had. I have no idea. He had been doing it for 30, 40 years. The
Yep.
guy who does my mom, or the orthopedic surgeon that my mom uses, has also been doing it 30, 40 years. I
There's
mean,
expertise in that. Yep.
it's about expertise. And as my friend on LinkedIn pointed out, you can ruin your brand reputation if you use somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, make a big mistake. But I mean, also the other thing is people default to average a lot of times with writing, and lack creativity. I mean, I see a lot of people. I'm not against AI. People think I may be against AI. I'm not exactly against AI. I just don't think people use it very well, especially when it comes to writing.
Yep.
But people will like, oh, write me a page and give a few parameters, and it spits out something rather average.
Yep.
But if you have a skilled writer who understands that maybe your audience would respond really well to this particular writing technique, you know,
Mhm.
or the other thing about writing a copywriter, they, if you're talking about web copy, there's a whole lot that goes into that. So we talked about my process, right? One of them is research, right?
Correct.
You research 5 ways till Sunday. You know, there's different ways to research and to assimilate the information you're gathered. You don't just rush into spitting out words if you're a good copywriter. Um, so that comes with expertise. That comes with having
This is
acquired the skills over the years.
but this is one of the reasons why you have to pay for expertise, not just what we talked about in the last episode, not by the word or by the hour, because there's a lot of expertise that goes in, and it's not just writing. A lot of it's research, knowing where to go,
I would
relationships, and
say
it goes on.
2/3, 3/4 of a copywriting project is not even writing the words.
Yep, I would agree.
At least 2/3, not even writing the words.
Hmm.
And that may be a surprise. And the other thing I started to point out in the last episode, I'll say it again here, even if you get a good copywriter from another country that you think, well, I can get them cheaper. No, no, my friend, they're using American rates too because they know their value, right?
But
And so
the bigger problem with going to another country, though, is they don't understand American laws or North American laws. They don't understand North American culture. They write the way their culture writes. It's not always the same, Todd. Like, honestly.
it's not, but when it comes to like conversion copywriting and stuff like that,
Yep.
they can navigate that probably a lot easier than some kinds of articles you might write. But I know a girl, I actually had her on a show of mine, a lady from I think she was from Nigeria, and she's well known as one of the top SEO copywriters in the in the industry. And she's from Africa, and she's very good, and she's spoken on stage because she is so good.
Yep.
And you ain't gonna get hurt for cheap. It doesn't matter if she's from Nigeria.
No.
Nope, it doesn't matter. I have a friend from Pakistan. I think he's from Pakistan. He does a lot of video script writing. He ain't charging Pakistani rates. Our
No.
friend Devender, who's a web developer, web designer, he
Yep.
don't charge Indian rates. He's
No.
from
No.
India. He knows. So when somebody excels in their industry, it doesn't matter what part of the globe they're in, they will start charging rates that mirror what you and I have because they're that good. But you're right about some of those nuances, and certainly that's why I hesitate to want to write anything for anybody in Europe because there's even more. I would stick to North America, thank you, on that
Mhm.
regard. But Europe has got all these landmines
Yeah,
with
they
their
do.
laws and regulations and so forth.
No question. No
But
question.
anyway, I think it's like any other industry, right? Writing is like any other industry. Somebody's been around a while. Um, they know they have a better skill set. They have stacked skills on top of each other, if you will.
Yep.
They have experiences, right? They have, and often people don't think about this either, right? I have taken $1,000 copywriting course before. Okay.
Mhm.
That was not cheap.
Yep.
And I have taken other copyright, other types of courses before. Some I finished and some I didn't finish.
Yep.
I have paid for books. I've paid for PDFs.
Yep.
Um, you know,
You
and
you you belong to a couple groups where you talked about,
Yeah,
and you pay
I've
for
been in
that.
a couple of groups that have and I accumulate skills and knowledge in all different industries. It's not,
Mhm.
copywriting is a marketing skill. Um, but I have learned in SEO communities, I've learned in content writing
Yep.
communities, content
Yep.
marketing. I've learned in website development communities. Um, I've kind of got my foot in a lot of different stuff. And even lately, I have crossed over into private online community management, um, and learning about that as well. Because, the reality is, I'll say this, even though we've got this segment, copywriting really isn't a service anymore. It's a skill that everybody needs to have, right?
No,
Even
I
if you're a
agree.
business owner, you need to have that skill to some degree, and you fill in when you don't have those skills. Like, if you aren't good or comfortable creating email newsletters, but you want to hire an email copywriter, then there's plenty of email copywriters out there. My friend I was telling about who does video scripts. I mean, that's not my thing. I don't know how to do those. I'm curious about it, but I would send you to him because he's the guy who writes video scripts. I've known other people do video scripts. Landing page, I do like landing pages a little bit better. Sales pages, I kind of cut my teeth on landing and sales pages from the school of copy hackers, right? Joanna Weeb, who's a Canadian. And I've since then kind of transferred what I learned there to service industry. So, because what she does, she trains people to do SaaS, software as a service copywriting. I don't really stay in the SaaS industry so much, although I have a longstanding client that is not technically a SaaS, but they're a SaaS-like product. But the rest, everybody else, I tend to, lay more in the service side. But products or services, but you as a copywriter, whether you're in the content marketing side of it, as doing long form articles, or you're in the web copy side of it, or the email copy, or even direct response, we have to learn a lot of different skills. And I paid a lot of money for stuff along the way. So when you're getting me to write something, and most copywriters rarely want to do like one little tiny project.
It's not worth
They
it.
either want to get you on a retainer or they want to do a big project. I mean, so there's certain people I would do a small project for, but most people, especially a new client, no. Now I might do it to test working with someone. Like you say you want a landing page, and I'll look and okay, I'll do a landing page for you. I'll get, I have to do it for a minimum amount. You pay me that. I'll see how I like working with you. If I like working with you, you like working with me and want to do some more stuff, fine. But for the most part, I'm not going to do like one single article. I'm going to want you to commit to 3 to 5 articles. I don't really do articles for people except for one customer. Anyway, so
so at the end of
you
the
accumulate
day,
skills and you
skills matter.
accumulate and knowledge and you expertise and experience. It's what SEO, Google talks about the EAT, right? Expertise, authority, and what's the T stand for? Anyways, expertise, experience, authority, and I'm drawing a blank on the T right now. But essentially that's everybody in any industry. So a writer is just like anybody in any other industry. Now, the writer who can set himself or herself apart, in my opinion, is somebody who can assimilate and assess information and make strategic decisions.
I agree with you.
Some writers can't or don't want to, and they're happy to take the project that you tell them what to do, and they do it for you. Others are just fine, and maybe it'd be more advantageous to you as a business owner to let them think strategically about your business and your project. Because a lot of copywriters are very strategic. They've learned how to think strategically about what you're doing. I have said this many times over, and you've heard me say this. I learn more about marketing from copywriting than any other industry.
And there you have it. Skills and expertise matter. Increasing them matter, and I think that's so well said. If you want to talk to Todd about anything copywriting, copyfight.com, bug him on Twitter, X, if you want to call it that, LinkedIn, and wherever else the socials are, right?
Yeah, those are the two that I'm most active on from a business front. Facebook is very personal these days. I don't do a whole lot of personal business stuff on Facebook. So X and Twitter and LinkedIn is pretty much, you see more of my stuff there.
Have a great day, Todd, and thanks for sharing your skills and expertise today. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for listening to the STM Show. The STM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital concierge. For all your digital marketing needs, especially WordPress security, Jump on over to studyingdigitalmarketing.com and let's help you put the pieces together and make your business succeed in the marketing realm. That's studyingdigitalmarketing.com.
Very special thank you to Todd Jones for joining me on the SDM show.
This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I love you. I miss you very much. And thanks for all the inspiration over the years and your caring, your understanding, and helping me grow as an individual. Thank you, Dad.